we're good.
Okay. I'm good. Your burps start with B.
Your face starts with my dick.
What is that? How you gonna start this whole thing like that? What does that mean?
Think about it.
My face starts with my, not your mind.
Yeah, your face starts with my dick.
Like before what? What's after? Sequel's never good before.
Hey guys, and welcome to Nerd Locker Podcast, your entertainment podcast for everything movies, television, video games, and more. My name's Adam.
And I'm Orlando.
If you know, you know. So we are going to be talking about something that just came out recently, guys. We've been excited for this. It's been a big thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Dude.
Guys, we're going to be reviewing, or at least going through our thoughts on the first 4 episodes. We've only gotten that far in. We have lives and a job and blah, blah, blah. But we watched the first 4 episodes, and I guess let's go.
Go first? You go
Let's
first?
go with this. Let's go with what was your opinion on the original show, the animated show?
The animated show is amazing. I mean, obviously, I think everyone agrees. We're trying to basically get out of this weird funk where turning animation or video games into live action to be actually good,
Yeah.
and we just can't get there for some reason. M Night. But
I thought we weren't talking about that one.
talking about what?
What?
And so, so far, right off the bat, we have some pretty good differences based off of what they've tried to do in the past. And now I'm not just only talking about Avatar. I'm also talking about, let's say One Piece or
Yeah. One Piece did, I think it definitely laid way, but I think this was starting to develop before.
right.
One
And then
Piece
also
did.
Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop, and we're working on others right now. But I also don't get confused. I'm not doing anime to live action. It's just things that are animated
Yeah.
to live action.
Mhm.
But so far, I do like the grounds that they have. The first episode was a little slow. Even Russ, my brother, pointed out a little bit of discrepancies, which I didn't mind.
What is one of those? What's one?
One of them that
example?
I didn't know, and I don't know if this is actually a thing.
Okay.
Apparently, in the earlier times in Avatar, he can't airbend unless he has a staff.
So he could airbend without the staff. The thing that he couldn't do was quote unquote fly.
Okay.
And it kind of shows that he can in a way. He couldn't fly without the staff. That's what it was.
Yeah, I
he
knew
could
that.
airbend without it because he did his little
But
thing.
But there was also him
So-
flying right at the beginning of the episode.
He
when
wasn't
jumped
using
off.
his staff. No.
Right, I
Yeah.
know. That's what
So
I
that's
mean.
the thing. Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, so that's definitely a big change there, and I think that would, in turn, affect if this. Let's say this is successful and goes on and on and on, and we eventually probably move on to Korra.
Mm-hmm.
That would affect a lot of season 3 of Korra because you have, and spoiler warning, you have the main villain Zahir was the first person to actually fly.
Right.
Using airbending because it was doing it so effortlessly. You didn't see any kind of wind underneath him. He was just basically floating.
Was that the main villain?
Yeah, of season 3. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
3. I was
yeah,
thinking. I
'cause
think you
remember
meant
there was the
first
other one
villain.
that had water bending. She had no arms. It was when that spirit convergence happened,
I remember. Yeah.
and everyone that wasn't a bender started developing bending powers. So
Yeah.
um,
But anyway, and then another one. This might have been a cut. They probably filmed it, but Aang gets captured. We're
mhm.
kind of jumping a little bit into little bit
yeah,
towards the middle of the episode, the chunk of the episode. He gets captured, and Sokka and Katara are like, let's rescue him finally.
hmm
And then they just show them flying on Appa. There's no cut of them doing or knowing of how to summon Appa.
yeah,
Clearly, they've never seen Appa before, so you have to assume that Aang was like, you just say yip yip.
hmm
But I like to play to the lowest common denominator that not everyone knows that.
hmm So, I mean, let's go down this road. So, would you say, and before I tell you why I'm asking it, I just want to know your honest opinion without being biased. So, if you had to compare episode 1 to the other 3 episodes, do you think that you liked the other 3 more than 1?
It's slowly starting to get better.
Okay.
Yes.
So with that in mind, and this is probably going to be shocking to you, it's when this show was developed, and obviously, guys, I'm jumping around a little bit. Sorry for this, but I do want to bring this up. When the show was developed, Mike and Brian, that created the original Avatar series, were on for this, and they eventually walked away from the project because it was creative differences.
I
So
remember.
when that was said, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, like if it's not with Mike and Brian, like I don't want to watch this." But Mike and Brian were credited with writing episode 1 and episode 6.
1 and 6.
Yeah. So if you thought it got better,
Yeah.
that means you like that they walked away from the project. So whatever they were planning to do with episode 1 would have continued that tone.
Well,
Because they were the ones that were credited with creating the episode. They chose to skip over Appa
so
thing
did they
and everything else
read
like
the
that.
story and then come back for the end?
I think they might. No, what they did was they were in the middle of. Nothing is filmed in order. Nothing is written in order. So they wrote episodes 1 and episode 6 that they, I guess, if they're giving credit, that means that they either didn't tweak it that much or they just kept enough of it. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, there could have been a scene where Appa does get, like, they do have that scene where they need to figure out how to get Appa to go. Maybe it was just deleted out of
You're
it.
right.
Who knows? But I mean, again, so does that mean, like, was it better that Mike and Brian left, even though
I
they
don't
were
think
the
it's
original
better
creators?
for worse. Like it was still written fine. Some of the like directive,
But
like,
they also
direction was
eliminate,
a little different.
so they
but-
would be the ones eliminating the staff. So maybe that was just something that they look back on and maybe regretted.
So, yeah, maybe.
That's the thing. We have to look at it from this angle. Like it is different, but Mike and Brian gave them a basis to go off of.
Mhm.
And now that they have that basis, they can go and just play with it. And I think that's what they're doing.
Okay.
So we should look at this as okay, it has some comparisons, but this is a completely new iteration of the same story. So we're going to hit the same story beats, but the way we get there and exactly how it goes down is going to be different enough to where we're still like, oh, wow. Because we
Right.
noticed that with episode 4 when Boomy puts Aang into the rock candy, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happened underground before the fight.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It was definitely, it's different, which is fine. Different's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's
against it.
It wasn't like it didn't make sense in the context
But
that it was
when
used.
like the creators weren't on it, I think it should be careful to consider because people are automatically going to compare. The same thing happened with One Piece. People are automatically going to compare one thing
Yeah.
to the other, and it's hard to like get out of that sort of like that trolley
Mm-hmm.
rail, I guess, reference to games we've played.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to like convince like the audience we're not doing exactly this, we're trying to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like so far I'm liking it.
I think
I
it
think it's
should
getting
be
better.
that way. Yeah. I think
I
it-
like the differences because it makes it new.
Yeah. Why do I want to watch the
Like
same
I don't
thing
want to watch
twice?
this. So I was talking to somebody and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm watching live action." And they're like, "Oh, how is it?" I'm like, "Oh, it's pretty good." They're like, and I was explaining how the actors sound just like
Yeah.
the animation,
Mm-hmm.
and like then why not just watch the animation?
Yeah, it's like, well, this is different. And the thing is, guys, so slight spoilers for the live action as well as you haven't seen the animated, but so obviously it's the Last Airbender. We all know that with Aang, and in an animated TV show, you can't show death, destruction, things like that. You can allude to it, but you can't really explicitly show it. Where in this, they show the genocide of the air nomads.
Right, which is
Opening
new,
scene.
which is cool.
Like the first 20 minutes is just people getting annihilated by the firebenders, and it's in such a cinematic way. This whole show has been so cinematic in different. I mean, each episode is about an hour long too, so like you're getting like a mini movie
Right.
of a couple of different
Like let's
episodes
take like
together.
an episode being 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
That's multiple episodes.
You're
That's
getting
a lot
like
of
3 episodes per episode in here because it was about 26. Yeah, there was about 22 or 26 episodes in the first season. So they're trying to put that all into 8. So like you're getting about 3 episodes worth of story per episode in the live action, which is
Right.
really cool because I think there was a lot of like part 1, part 2s
Yeah.
when we watched it in animation. So like this kind of like doesn't give you those gaps,
condenses it a
you
little
know?
bit.
Yeah.
It's kinda
like
nice.
it gives you the cliffhangers that are better cliffhangers in my opinion. I think this has better cliffhangers than the animated one did.
I think so because the animated also like what we like to call fillers, like
They had fillers, and also, did you ever notice with the animated one, they all, for the most part, until season 3, they kind of ended on nicer, like
more happier.
happier notes, and
Yeah.
always the way the music went, dun 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 dun. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like go
yeah.
off in the sunset.
Just weird.
They don't do that with this. They
No.
leave it with cliffhangers where you're like, what the hell's about to happen next? That's
Which
how
I
they
think
get
is
you.
correct because they're going
Yeah.
for a more darker sort of theming,
Because
and
you
we're
have
we're
to.
also appealed to like more adults. If
Yeah,
anything.
but you have to go darker with this show because you're dealing with things like water and fire, and you're gonna
So much
wait
death.
till bloodbending.
So much death.
Dude, bloodbending.
Bloodbending is gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be disgusting.
I want them to do Toph so bad. I cannot.
I
wait
mean,
for
yeah.
Toph.
So
And the whole arc of losing Appa is so sad.
yeah,
Jesus.
and we also got, so guys, they gave us not only the genocide, they also give us a lot more backstory to Aang and showing how he was basically OP and ridiculed and like shunned by his fellow people, and then we also get what is it, Iroh and Zuko.
We get
And
more background.
Iroh's
Yeah.
son, and losing him in the funeral.
We get all
and
that. We get
we
that
get
connection,
so
that bond,
much
right?
more with that, and I
And it's
think these
also
actors
going
are
like
so
this.
good.
It's
Yeah,
going like this.
they're pushing through this because I don't know if they're pushing through this for the fact that I was talking to you about this earlier, but it's. Are they doing this for the time jump that they're gonna have to do, or are they doing this because they maybe were like, in case we don't get season 2, we gotta try to get as much as we can,
Right.
or maybe it's just the basis of how do we fit all of season 1 in 8 episodes.
Right.
So it's going to seem fast because it's kind of out of order, and they're using some kind of things from book 2 in different ways. Like the development between Zuko and Iroh is a little bit pushed forward, but I think
Which I like.
Yeah, and I like that about this because even though it's pushed forward in episode count, time-wise, we would already been like halfway through season 1 of the animated. So like, yeah, you're going to start knowing about their relationship. So like, yeah, you should know it by now too, because this is the halfway mark of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to start laying our seeds and getting to where we need to get to with all of this. But before I get into overall what we want going forward, here's a word from our sponsor.
Thank you for BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you can just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to a therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. With BetterHelp, you can get to the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you. Any scheduling flexibility and at a more affordable price. Just get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/nerdlocker. The link is going to be right down below in the description.
Hi, classic horror icon here. You're probably wondering, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, do you like scary movies?
Yes.
Then boy do I have some news for you. There's this business called Seventh Ink, founded by Matthew Johnson, a local artist in the Florida area who creates amazing clothing with his own original Halloween-inspired art. Not only do they have t-shirts, hoodies, and dresses, they have pins, magnets, hats, and more.
Wow, these designs are actually pretty sick.
Here, try one yourself.
Oh shit, these are actually pretty nice.
Check under the shirt.
How did you get 2 shirts on me? What are you doing? I keep me the shirts.
That's Seventh Ink, ladies and gentlemen, and if you follow the link below and use our code ANGEL at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire order. That's ANGEL at checkout for 10% off your order. Isn't that right, little buddy? Aww, not another one.
And we're back.
We are?
So, yeah. And overall, like, if you had to compare the first, like, when you first saw Avatar as a kid to now, like, do you get that feeling of nostalgia, or are you feeling like excited again for what you don't know what's coming.
I don't get the nostalgia feel. I get the nostalgia feel when the end credits happen, the music,
Yeah.
and I got the nostalgia feel when Grand told the story.
And also Secret Lovers.
It's just certain
Or no,
certain
Secret
things.
Tunnel. Secret
Tunnel.
Tunnel. Secret Tunnel.
It's like certain little things.
My cabbages.
So, unpopular opinion, wasn't a crazy fan of the Cabbages.
Really?
So I understand it was like the original actor and everything. I love that.
Mm.
I thought it was too overhyped because they stopped him saying cabbages twice before he actually yelled it out. And then by then I was just kind of fizzled out
Yeah.
because it was during like such a high heated moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, well, this isn't like funny anymore
But
to
I
me.
think they did the same thing in the original because he doesn't say it until the end too, and then it just becomes a recurring thing. What I'm
He
curious,
says it a lot. He says it way more frequently.
What
He
I'm-
says it twice so
I'm
far.
curious if he will keep recurring.
Definitely. I just thought the first one was a little bit too
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
because they knew that's what people were waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this seems forced. I don't know.
I can see that. I guess out of the first four, what was your favorite one so far?
Trying to think. It's probably just gonna be what happened last episode.
Into the Dark with
The
yeah.
tunnels and stuff. It's
Before that
probably
was
gonna be
Omashu.
4 because I think that Boomy's acting really sold that whole scene.
He
was super
He was
fun.
so good.
He was super fun. He did portray it really well. I liked that. Appreciated that.
Yeah.
And
I also like how they made him a lot because the story, guys, if you know the original animated series, it was a lot more. It was funnier, and also the biggest thing they didn't include Fluffy.
Fluffy.
So remember, it was like, can you find Fluffy or Flappy or something like that? It was like, can you find or bring him to me? It was like this big dog thing.
Oh
remember?
yeah.
And That was
I
part of
forgot
the
about
thing.
that.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, his name is that. And that's what he had to say to him. So it was like, come here, boy. They never did that.
They didn't.
And that was a part of this. So what they did in this, guys, was they made it where Boomy was fucking mad at Aang. Where in the other, he was just fucking with him because it was like, oh yeah,
But he was actually, which made me
he was like, I just
confused.
wanted to play games like we wanted to play games. But in this one, he's like, you left us, motherfucker.
Which is, I feel that because it
I
makes
like
more
it.
grounding.
Yeah.
And
It's true. You left for
Also,
100 years.
for the fucking people that know the show, they're probably confused about the whole thing. Like,
Mhm.
wait, is he joking? Is he not joking? They don't know.
Mhm.
But it turns out he's actually fucking mad.
Yeah.
And I like that. That was good. That was
Like
a good
he was
take.
willing, like he was like, kill me, like
Yeah.
do it, like. But the thing is his lessons were true. It's like you're gonna have to make the fucking tough choices because you didn't make it the first time.
And then he said, you cheated.
Yep, you cheated.
Which is how he's going to save, spoiler, the world anyways,
I don't think he
with his
cheated.
friends.
I don't think, but no, even then though, like because when it comes to how this whole show is going to end, spoilers, guys, like when Aang finally defeats the Fire Lord, he's gonna take his bending away with energy bending, and
Right.
it's gonna be with like his friends are not. Yes, they are helping him fight the battle, but when you really look at that last episode, everyone else is on the ground just preventing more people, but it's just Aang and Ozai. And it is a bare knuckle
It's
brawl.
awesome. It's
like
awesome.
they are going at it. And when he finally gets them down to there, like Aang has that moment
I
of
think-
just like, yeah.
I think that only reason that Aang has makes that moment sell is because of his friends. Like he wouldn't have, obviously he needed the help to get there. So I think that's kind of what they're selling so early on is like Aang couldn't be to this point without his support system.
I have a funny feeling that they're going to go a different route also with this because if you think about it, in the original, because right now we just saw the secret tunnels where it was supposed to be Aang and Katara,
Which is weird.
and they were supposed to kiss, but instead they did a brother-sister love
Right.
down below the tunnel. So they changed that up too. And I don't mind that in any way because you don't really need to push the
She's
two.
12 and it's weird.
You're pushing kids to kiss.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, we don't need it. It was, I think, a nice change, but is that gonna be their path forward? Like, are they maybe not gonna push on the romance as much?
I don't think they'll push romance this season.
Which is fine, but the thing is I feel like Aang's undying, like immediate, like love for Katara is the whole thing when he gets to the chakras and like needing to let go of someone. And it's like, think about the first, like the person you love and the first time you saw, or like the first time you fell in love, and it
But so
flashes
far-
to him looking at her. So it's like that shows that like he immediately felt something for her right off the bat, and they haven't done that with this, which I don't mind if they go against
Yeah,
it.
it's weird. But I like
Where
it.
are they gonna incorporate that romance later, unless they are planning a time jump? That's what I'm
I
saying.
know that time
You know,
jump is
like
the only thing that makes
Aang
sense.
was always the one that went head first. How do you do it where like they're both gonna
Right.
naturally get
Because right
there,
now, like
you know?
we're kind of all over the place. Like
Yeah.
Katara's into Jet, and then Sokka's with Suki.
Yeah,
Suki's
so,
awesome. Suki, that was a great actress. They did a really good job casting
awesome
her.
job. And Kyoshi,
And Kyoshi was
Awesome.
super super good episode. Yeah,
Fucking great.
I'm excited. I could watch one right now.
Yeah.
but
All right.
I'm not going to.
No. But other than that, I give so far, guys, I'll change it when we finish this off. I would give it
So
probably
this is a half
7.
point, right?
Yeah.
We're
I
half
give the
point.
first 4 episodes a good 7 out of 10. For what they've done, how, like, with all the production value that they went in, the amount in the costumes, the acting, and the attention to detail on changing things up, I'm going to give you a 7, and I'm only taking away 3 points because the water bending kind of takes me out of it. The earth bending can take me out of it sometimes. It's gotten better, but also the jarring difference between 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Like,
It's noticeable.
the pilot to the rest of it is very noticeable.
I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna give it a 6 because there are way too many slow motion action scenes.
Mhm.
I understand sometimes it's necessary when Katara is taking out the arrow,
Yeah.
but during the fight in what's that name of that city?
Omashu?
Omashu, between Zuko and Aang,
Mm-hmm.
there's unnecessary. I want to
Yeah.
see quick action
Yeah.
stuff, and that's what the animation did.
Gotcha.
And it just reminds me of Zack Schneider. Like I'm watching Wonder Woman again.
You keep saying Schneider.
What is it?
Said it since the start of this
Zach,
podcast.
What is it?
Snyder.
Snyder?
Snyder.
There's
There's no
Schneider.
Yeah, there's no
What if I have a lisp?
You don't.
Like Schneider.
You don't.
Like Schneider.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. What if I'm just? But I just feel like I'm watching one of his movies where like he's obsessed with slow motion scenes for some
Yeah.
reason.
Okay.
And that's since the beginning, episode 1. They did that. But I don't like it. Just do it. Just do it. But yeah, I'm sticking with my 6.
All right. All right, guys. We will get back with you as a full review next week. But until then, where can they find you?
You can find me at the Sphere 21 on any major social media platform, except for TikTok. I'm Oliver Khan, VA.
And you can find me at Aomori Photography. You can find the studio, Archangel Studios Official. And you can find this podcast at Nerd Locker Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys next time.
I gotta pee.